What is going on, everybody? My name is George Anderson with REI Branded Homebuyer. That's www.reibrandedhomebuyer.com if you want to go and check us out. We're going to talk a little bit more about developments, mainly at the end of a development. So if you want to look at some of our other videos, they are on our website, or they're on our website, and they're also on our YouTube. We will have our website up here pretty soon. Again, we are just switching everything over, so those will be up. Also, they are definitely going to be on our YouTube before this video. What we're going to talk about is at the very end of the development phase, when you are giving that package, the certification package to the city. And during that time, the city's going to ask you to put up a bond. So there's a 1 year and a 2 year bond that the city's going to ask you for. The first bond that is going to be issued is for the sewer. And after a year after the city actually certifies that your development, they're going to come back and do another inspection. So the sewer is going to come, or the Spokane sewer is going to come back, and they're going to do a video of the sewer line to make sure that there are no bellies. What they call bellies is when, the best way I could explain it is you got your regular sewer line that goes down, and it's got a good grade. But say in the middle of that grade, there's like the sewer line like dips down like that. That's called a belly right there. And what happens during that time is, say like the soil compaction wasn't correct and it just went down, and like the road would collapse a little bit with it. So what they're going to do is they're going to have you put a bond for 1 year, and then once the county sewer says, okay, we're going to accept this after a year, they'll release the bond, and then you could go back to your bonding company and you could say, hey, they released the bond. You actually get a note saying that the city actually took over and will take care of that from here on out. The second bond that the city is going to request is for all the streets and for any like issues, or it's basically saying that you did the work properly. So what's going to happen, especially here in Spokane, they're going to send their person out after 2 years, and they're going to do a full walkthrough of the plat. And they're going to look for any issues whatsoever, like maybe there's cracks in the curbing or something like that. They might point it out when they walk through it at that time, and they're going to go, okay, if we come back in 2 years and it's still just barely cracked or something like that, then it's not going to be an issue. But they're looking for major problems, and that would be like something like a pothole or something like that in your street. So hopefully that doesn't happen in your development. But also know this: when you do your bond, it is tied to you personally. They ask you for your social security number and all that stuff. They personally tie that to you because they know when you do your development, sometimes these people put them into an LLC. It's kind of like what we did. We put it into an LLC, and then we dissolved the LLC after the development was done, so that we don't have to do any more paperwork for 2 more years after that. But since the LLC is dissolved, they're going to want to come after you some other way because the LLC is no longer around. So the bonding company is going to say, hey, we got to be able to tie you to this property. So if you don't want to get tied to that property for 2 years after it is complete, there might be a chance where you give us a call at 769-3439. It's 509-769-3439. And we'll come out and buy the property, and we'll take care of that for you. So you don't have to have all that liability, right? Because we have a really good track record at taking care of this type of work. We've done this before, and I have no problem taking on the risk when it comes to doing this work. If you're stressed out about it, you don't want to take the bond on at the very end, you don't want to be tied to that property, you don't want to say you're like, I don't think I could do this. Again, you can go to www.reibrandedhomebuyer.com and you can check us out, fill that information, and say, hey, I want to sell my property, and we'll come out, take a look at it. We'll give you an offer on that, and then we'll develop it for you. Or we could also partner with you. So there's all sorts of different methods of taking care of. They say there's all sorts of ways of skinning a cat, the property being a cat. But I would never, ever hurt animals. I want to let everybody know that right now. The internet takes things wrong sometimes. I would never ever hurt an animal. But again, if you want to sell your property, we would very much like to come over and take a look at it and see if we can work something out and give you an offer on it. But yeah, that bond is a very big thing at the end. Also, one more thing, all of the stuff that you do on this plat, on your development, at the very end, all the streets, all the sidewalks, all the curbing, all of the sewers, the water lines, everything. And that could come up to $500,000 to a couple $1,000,000 after that's all said and done, and you will gift that to the city. That's the reason why you need to have that bond, because it needs to be done correctly, and the city's going to say, hey, you need to get this all fixed, otherwise we're going to come after you for some cash. And fixing that stuff is not cheap. That's the reason why you have a bond. Just in case you don't have the money, the bonding company will come out, fix it, and then the bonding company will come over and get you for it. So I don't know what happens with the bond afterwards, because I've never had that issue, but I hear it's a very bad thing. But anyways, yeah, you gift all of that money to the city. The city's not going to do it. The city's not going to put that in for you, because you're going to make a lot of money on that development. They say that you're supposed to make a lot of money on it. But anyways, again, George from REI Branded Homebuyer. You can go to our website, www.reibrandedhomebuyer.com. We buy land in Spokane. We also buy land all over Washington. We like to buy land within the certain areas of cities. I know that rural land is a little bit more difficult depending on the zoning and the farmland and stuff like that. I like to buy zones like multifamily or like R3 type land or property. So zoning is a huge thing that comes into effect when we do our development, or when we purchase a property. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue twisted right now. But I would love to talk to each and every single one of you watching this video. If you want to hear more about developments, stick around, because I'm going to keep on putting more stuff out. You all have a great one. We buy land in Spokane. We buy land in Washington. Sell my house fast. Sell my land fast. Whatever you got, we'll buy it. If you have any problems with that land, we'll see what we can do for you, okay? You all have a great one. Bye-bye.